Last time, we cycled the Baltic Canal in the Czech Republic. This time we're skipping up to the border to ride the Elbe River. Here's our breakfast. This is the hotel. There's like a self-serve breakfast right in the back there. And Charlie's got lots of protein to rebuild himself for the day. Beautiful bikey. It's Charlie's bike. We took a train to the border, stopping on the way.
We're in Prague.
So on the train here, you had to put it on this special carriage, and then you got to go up here onto the carriage, and then he helps you get it up at the other end. This is the carriage he puts it in, and it's locked for the duration of the journey. When you get on board, ta-da! There's little seats. Okay, this is the apartment in Ústí nad Labem. It so far seems to be an interesting place. The train line runs just out there, and then through here, like this place has just been done up by the looks of it. And there's a bed there. There's a fridge. Into here is kind of the bathroom. You want to see this is the shower, and there's a washing machine, which is good. Mind you, there's also a washing machine out here. Anywho, so, and there's a toilet, right? And then I'm coming around to Charlie, and there's like even more. This place is huge. There's a telly and Wi-Fi on a little plastic kind of stooly thing. God knows what's going on there. I think it's a bunk bed that's been split down.
The other half's over here.
The other half's over there. Okay, there's more. There's air conditioning. Oh, I see. There's another bed. How many beds? Anyway, and then there's a landing and there's a street out there. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Enough space.
I think it was $68 Australian a night.
It's crazy.
All through Europe on the major rivers, you'll see these hydroelectric stations and locks. But this is a good description of one here. So you've got the 3 hydroelectric turbines on that side. Then you have a barrage here, and then you have a lock here. So you've got the main lock here, and that's 170 meters long by 24 meters. So these are for seagoing ships, and you can see the turbine up here inside. So the water comes from upstream through the turbine, releases its energy, and then heads back. And also they also act as bridges, pedestrian bridges. So we're going to try and get across it now as a pedestrian bridge. Oh, and if you look, there's a castle on the top of the hill over there, which is really cool. Very stark and foreboding castle, dominating the river and the surrounding sides on top of a black rock.
We decided before we went to bed to go to this public pool that's nearby. Finding the entrance to the public pool was a bit difficult.
The entry is a little bit hard to find, so you got to look out for is this here, which is where you buy your tickets, or you can buy it inside. Halfway down there's like a security room, and then here it's got information. That's where you go through. There's a turnstile to get out, but we you know, needed to bring the bikes inside with us. And then here you scan your ticket, and then it like rotates through, or you know, it's kind of like an honor system. Yeah, so when you're riding along, look out for this point of entry here, because there's a couple of points of entry and it's quite confusing. Okay, we've just paid for entry. There's a machine at the front, so it looks like a parking meter machine, but it's actually a machine for getting your ticket. The ticket costs 50 in the local currency. And it's on the waterfront. There's like a swan down there. That's the pool here. There's more than one.
The other ones are empty. They must not be full yet.
Yeah.
And there's naked men here.
And yeah, clothing's optional. Woo!
So we just got out of the pool, the Kraken tricked me into this because she told me it was 25 degrees, the pool, where if it was 18, I reckon it was more like 16 degrees, that pool. But then then she tricked me again. She said, oh, well, let's go have a sauna together. So I went in there, down trowel, you know, because everybody's down in trowel. So I went in there, room full of naked men and women, and then you see the Kraken walk straight past, not even come in, and go next door to the relaxation room. You know, so, you know, she tricked me twice today already. But it's really nice here. Like, it's really nice. The water looks like mud. Like, it's given the Brisbane River a good name. You know, so, but, you know, there's swans and there's everything. Like, when I was in the sauna, you know, you could look straight out in the river and you could see all the swans going past and everything like that. So it was really lovely, you know, and notice the absence of the Kraken, you know. So anyway, do you want to say anything, Mrs. Kraken?
I liked it, and it was very unusual, and it's a cultural experience. So if you are here, give it a go.
Yeah, she thought it was, when she was in the relaxation room, all the nude men walking past was quite interesting.
Yes.
I don't know why people say this slack lining is hard.
What's
Okay,
going on?
come here.
And it was time to head back for bed.
Okay, we are on a new bike path. We're along the Elbe River and we're at this town. And today we're cycling to no town, just a hotel that's halfway between here and Dresden. So this town's really industrial. You can see it's been industrial forever. And there's a lot of like abandoned factories and cheaper areas. And there's also a coal-fired power station right in the middle of town, like right smack dang in the middle of town, there's a coal-fired power station. But other than that, it's quite lovely. And there's all these beautiful quiet streets and there's a bit of an old town. And there's river cruises. We just missed one. One's just going past. The river here is really dirty. Like, it looks so much worse than the Brisbane River. There's no garbage. It's just like very chocolate. Yesterday we went to a swimming place right next to the river. It was really cool and I really liked it. Although the Kraken got me because she said it was going to be 25 degrees. It was more like 16 inside the water. But then there was saunas and hot rooms and cold plunge pools and all that. And it was $3 to get into. So today we're hoping we're going to be on a bike path all day, and the bike path signs are down there and it's saying it's the Eurovelo 2. And we'll see how it goes, because on the map it kind of looks like a lot of single trail, but everybody assures us this is a really beautiful route and it should be really lovely. So stay on, subscribe, and we'll tell you what it turns out to be like. Oh, and we should be crossing the border with Germany today, and then we're going to cross back by ferry, and we're not sure if the ferry's running or not, so that's another bit of excitement. And it's right at the very end where the ferry crossing is to get to this hotel in the middle of nowhere. And if it's not running, I don't know what we're going to do. The Kraken, who's outside her natural environment of the deep ocean, pulling everybody down, has got a lot of war wounds on her legs. So she's got a big bruise there from where she fell off the bike the other day. She's now bleeding from where we came down off that bridge. And you can see the rail they put on for the cyclists to make it really easy, but the Kraken managed to get the pedal in the back of the leg. So anyway, we'll see how we're going. I, on the other hand, have no injuries so far.
The cycling was really quite good, and you know, there was little bits of it that were on the road. You were sharing the road shoulder with cars, but most of it was on either very quiet roads or dedicated cycle path. Most of it was right alongside the river, and alongside the river there was heaps of these fortifications from World War II that were left over.
We've been going past a series of these bunkers, so overlooking the river. This is not one, there's a series of them, and they look like quite small but quite substantial.
And probably we rode past 50 or 60 of them during the day. I went in and explored them. The walls are really thick, but they're all kind of open. You can just wander in. There's a couple that have been set up as museums as well, either by the council or by private individuals. I wanted to go down here because you could see heaps of, this is some single track, You can see heaps of fortifications along the river here. The Kraken was not happy.
Charles brought us down this hellhole of a path because there's gonna be bunkers. That man, geez, he's in trouble. Going to this building for coffee and hopefully lunch.
This was about halfway along and we decided to have lunch here. The Kraken was dying for a coffee and there was no chance we were going any further. This is really only our third day of riding and she's flagging. We had a beautiful ride alongside the river after this in Germany. So up until now we've been riding in the Czech Republic, but now we crossed the river into Germany. The path is a lot better in Germany.
Here you can see one of the cross river ferries. We're going to take one later. Look at that majestic bicycle. Those people riding past are just jealous.
Look at that overloaded bicycle.
Yeah.
It's got everything that PJ doesn't want on her bike on mine.
One of the interesting things about the ferry that goes across is when you look it up, it says it's like 100 Czech marks to get across. But they charge you for the bikes as well, so you need some more money for the bikes. I think it was a extra 80 marks to get across on the bike. And let me tell you, the ferry drivers brook no nonsense. And there's some people that come down on the pontoon, and he was emphatic that he wasn't going to park until they got back all the way back into the tunnel on the other side.
Inside there's a seating area and there's a spot out the back as well. So if you want to be sheltered, you can sit in a nice warm sunny spot and look outside.
The next day when we tried to catch this ferry, it didn't start running when it was supposed to, and we waited, but we ended up riding on the other side of the ferry in the shade and the cold. The hotel was really good. It was about $100 a night for the accommodation, not including breakfast. And it was built directly into the wall, the cliff wall.
Little seat, nice little bedroom, and a little bathroom, and of course, a lovely little shower. And in the hallway there's all the tea and coffee makings. So there's a kettle, and there's water, and they supply some tea and coffee. Nice.
Today's the second day along the Elbe River. Yesterday was magnificent, and even the Kraken couldn't complain too much, except for one small detour we did across a field to look at German emplacements, World War II emplacements. But we were riding down the river in the German side, so we had to cross over into Germany, and there's a bike path the whole way, completely off-road, very nicely sealed. It was lovely. And last night we stayed in this charming little village on the Czech side, which obviously there's a tax difference between Germany and Czech Republic, because there's a lot of like duty-free stores here. So all these Germans come over, buy a whole lot of alcohol and cigarettes cheaply, and then go back over the border. The border's about 200 yards down the road, or there's a ferry. So yesterday we did a border crossing, rode for a bit, then did another boarding crossing via the ferry back to Czechoslovakia. So now we're waiting in the freezing cold for the ferry to start running again. Last night we stayed in this hotel here, and this valley is very contained, and you know, it's very pretty, but boy, it's cold. Okay, so if this is what it feels like in summer or spring, it must be brutal in winter. Today we have a longer day. We have about 50 kilometers. All of it's in Germany, so we'll catch the ferry first thing this morning, and All of it follows the Elbe River, and hopefully all of it will be on bike paths, and we're going to end up in Dresden. So we're looking for a great day. We tried to get away early, but the ferry isn't running, so we don't have much choice but to wait, because the river looks very cold, very deep and very swift.
Charlie has just gone in to try and use up the last of our currency from the Czech Republic, and it's freezing. So if you're doing this, plan to be on the western side of the river in the morning, because that gets the sun first and it looks much warmer. Charlie's going up the stairs to the bridge. Most bridges here have a fitting that means it's easier to get the bike up.
The bike path is extremely good. It's got great rolling surface, really good. There's lots of seats, and there's bike workstations and everything like that. Unfortunately, there's also being used for the marathon.
We have the luck of the Irish. We've beautiful day, beautiful path. We just run into the marathon. We're at the 39-kilometre mark and the guys are running backwards. So we're going to have a break for a couple of hours, let them get a bit of a head start.
And they wouldn't let us ride past them.
Oh, there's a big group of them.
So mean.
Yeah, there's a guy behind them too. They've left him behind. He looks like he's struggling. He's only 1 kilometre in.
Poor fella.
While we're slow riders, we're not quite as slow as walking marathoners. So our plan of just waiting a couple of hours and letting the marathon complete didn't pay off.
I know it's bad, but I can't help myself. When I feel sad, I escape from my sense. Lately music's been my reminiscence. That's when I listen. I know it's bad that I can't help myself. When I get mad, I set fire to the...
There are very few things that scare a bikepacker, but when you're told off by the police because you keep trying to get past the marathon, you know it's time to get a train. So we've given up. Charles kept sort of trying to see if there was a way, and then we'd wait by the side of the road, and then we catch up to them again.
And they're walking. The end people are walking.
Yeah, so it's the very end of the marathon, and they're like picking up the signs as they go, but they're still taking it very seriously. Even those walkers will not be interfered with. So we have given up, and we're going to go cycling in Dresden instead. We've just checked into the Ibis budget at Dresden, and you can see the bathroom's kind of unusual. There's like a shower here. You can look through there, and there's the things, and there's Charlie, and then the toilet's private. Yeah, it's a little room. They've got a dedicated bicycle storage room / space, and there's floor to ceiling glass where you can see the streetscape out there.
This is about 50 feet from our hotel, and it's pretty nice. Make a nice good weekender. I'm going to go in and see what it is. It's probably a little bit bigger than a weekender. Now I've come inside, you could probably make this, squeeze in as your main residence, if you had to, I mean, this is just the first half, so hopefully the other half's bigger, and then you could definitely have it as your main residence. I suppose it's nice. It's certainly impressive. If you want to impress people, this is how you build your house. So this is Dresden, and this is the old town of Dresden. The bit that survived the firebombing during World War II. Just more and more massive, sort of impressive German buildings. This sort of overload of dour, foreboding buildings sort of dominate the streetscape. It's amazing how these piles of sandstone and steel feel bigger than the high-rise that we make today. Just one example of the statues, the bronze statues, lining all the stairs and everything around here. Now, if you're going to put a statue, you might as well make it awesome and big. And next time you're tiling your dunny, just imagine that this is all tiles. And it's on the side of a building. And it goes completely around the building. And it doesn't repeat, so each tile is different. I think that's pretty amazing. So I don't know when they're going to start stocking these tiles in Beaumonts, but not many of us are going to have walls this long to make up the full scene. These are the city gates, and these are the warriors protecting the city gates. It's one guy, he's got a pretty impressive mustache. But this guy over here has got a more impressive beard. And look at that cudgel over here. These are all sandstone, and he must be 15 feet tall. Maybe 20. Very impressive. That's the main entrance. Look at this, it's a spiral staircase made out of sandstone. It's like a work of art. When you look, it just spirals upwards. And it's almost perfect, sensual, and just beautiful. And then you look, how many stairs could it possibly go up?
And if you look, probably about 8 stories straight up, keeping the same swirl the whole way. It's really an act of craftsmanship that takes your breath away.
And it's just in an alleyway here.
Tomorrow we're going to catch a train from Dresden to Hamburg.